What's up, kind people of YouTube? My name is Ahmed, and welcome back to yet another video. Today, I'm talking to you about this show called Like Mobeen that is genuinely one of the few shows that I can recommend to almost anybody and everybody. The show is brilliant. It has some unreal performances. The writing is of the highest quality possible. The cinematography is beautiful. The color correction on it is brilliant. I mean, I could go on and on and on about how well the show has been made, but we will discuss three things that I absolutely loved about the show, apart from the fact that it is very well made. The first thing I want to talk to you about is how much fun it was to watch this show. Now, there are very few shows that I watch that I enjoy watching as much as I enjoyed watching this show. That is a very confusing statement, even for me. It's easily one of the best TV shows that I've seen recently. In fact, I'm waiting for the final season to come out. I'm hoping the final season of this comes out really soon. So far there have been 3 seasons, 13 episodes, and each episode is an event. Like, if I can use the right word, it's an event. Like 35 minutes of pure entertainment for anyone watching the show. I can watch this show anytime and I'll still enjoy it. Like Mobeen is like one of those shows that you watch regularly despite you've seen it multiple times. Like, for example, Friends or The Big Bang Theory or How I Met Your Mother. It falls in that category. So this is why I recommend this show to so many people. Now, why did the show work for me? Well, to begin with, the love for realism, right? Despite it being written in a way that it's a comedy, there are so many moments in the show that make you connect with the show. Like the opening sequence itself, where it gets scammed by somebody, is so funny that honestly, I feel that it's something that could have happened to me as well. And if you aren't careful about it, it will for sure happen to somebody. Now, apart from that, there are so many different aspects of human nature that are being captured by the writing quality of the show that makes it stand out. Gus Khan, in an interview, did mention that the writing that he did for the show was inspired by some of the characters that he had met in his actual life, and he that's a very fun interview to watch as well, so I might link it in the description down below. Gus Khan is the creator of the show, and he actually plays Mubin in the show, which is why Mubin feels so real. Like, he is one of those characters that I know I'll bump into him at some point or the other. Like, I know that if I'm going out somewhere and I might run into someone like Mubin. That's the greatness of the show. That is what works for the show. I'm sure you guys know someone like Daisy Ilyas's 8 and someone like Nate. Yeah, so Mubin's best friends are called Nate and 8, so that's pretty hilarious in itself. Now, obviously, like the fact that you can run into someone like Nate or 8 or Mubin is what makes the show really work in my favor, at least. And I would recommend this show to you. It's on Netflix. Go watch it, and you will not regret watching it, is what I'm saying. Another thing that works in favor of the show is how well the writing translates to screen. It is one thing to observe and to write about the show, to write about the quirkiness of different characters that you meet in real life, different people that you meet in real life, but there are very few good translations of the writing onto the screen. So that works in the favor of the show. Gus Khan does a brilliant job in capturing the essence of what the characters are onto a piece of paper that forms the brilliant script. Not just the translation from a piece of paper, the script, to the screen. It's also the fact that they capture the essence of the quirkiness and crank it to 110%, which the exaggeration of it. And that's what makes it good or great in some situations. And in this situation, for me, the exaggeration was so well done that it doesn't feel out of place, and it still makes you laugh and you can go back to it. Like, the one thing that consistently annoyed me about the Big Bang Theory was the exaggeration was so out of place. that sometimes I would cringe at it. There are episodes that I don't go back and watch for the same reason. The same goes for Friends as well. Like there are episodes that I don't go back and watch because of the weirdness and the cringiness of those episodes. But in Man Like Mobeen, you can watch every single episode again and enjoy watching it, because there is not a single moment in the show where you feel this feels slightly out of place. That does not happen in the show. There are many major political issues that are dealt with throughout the show. For example, Islamophobia, racism, different political issues of Brexit. So, Man Like Mobeen is a British comedy show, and one thing that I have always liked about British comedy dramas or British TV shows in general is the fact that they use fewer episodes to tell a complete story. Like I mentioned earlier, that there are only 3 seasons to this, and there are only 13 episodes. You can see how small a season is, and okay, with the rise of Netflix, obviously, and Amazon Prime and Hotstar, Disney Plus, Hulu, and I can list the number of OTT platforms that exist now. There has been a lot more content online, and there has been an unrestricted access to this content, and the fact that the traditional form of content consumption has died down considerably. Like even at my place, we don't really have a set top box, and we're not paying for that. We're paying for Amazon Prime's Fire Stick, and we watch stuff on internet. So BBC has always done a very good job in making sure that their seasons are small, their seasons are interesting, and people come back and watch the next season very quickly. But when you look at shows that are produced in America, there are 20, 25. A small season is 12 episodes. 15 episodes. Longer seasons are 24 episodes. With the way our generation is moving forward, I don't think we have the patience to watch one episode a week over a span of a year. We want like 10 episodes right now, and that's it. We're done with that season. That's a good thing, that's a bad thing as well. I mean, good job for doing that, but then that's also getting very annoying in some situations where I want more content from a particular TV show, but I don't get it. Okay, the final reason why I personally love the show Man Like Mobeen is the emotional connect that I had to the show. Now, this is something that might not be true for a lot of people. This is not something that might not work for a lot of people. The reason why I actually liked Man Like Mubin was there was a certain level of cultural connection for me to the show. There was a certain level of emotional connection to me, and that worked. Like the narrative was something that I could relate to. It was something that I felt I could understand, and there were references that were made through the show that I was like, you know what, that reference works for me as a person. So that was one thing that I absolutely loved about the show. The biggest connection for me was how often the characters found themselves in situations that would be outrageous, and trust me, I find myself in some outrageous situations as well. So that was something like, oh yeah, I mean, I do fancy myself in a situation like this because I can get out of that situation. Comedy varies from person to person, and for me, I kind of enjoyed the kind of comedy that Man Like Mubin had to offer. The comedy for me there was appropriate. It had moments. It was subtle. It wasn't in your face. It wasn't over the top. It wasn't slapstick. Although I do enjoy certain slapstick comedies, but this was one of them that I enjoy the subtleness in the comedy. Overall, I love this show. I would highly recommend this show because of the absolute genius of writing and the performances of the show. I would highly recommend that you watch this show and come back and leave a comment down below if you actually enjoyed watching the show. I hope I'm not giving out any spoilers in the show. So, peace and see you in the next one.